माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा।
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यमुनातीरवनचारी यमुनातीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे। जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव। जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। श्री राधा माधव अष्टसखी वृंद श्रीमन महाप्रभु की जय। श्री श्री पंचतत्व की जय। श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, first canto, 17th chapter, text 12. Ko vṛścat tava pādāṁs trīn saurabheya catuṣ-pada ma bhūvaṁs tvādṛśā rāṣṭre rājñāṁ kṛṣṇā-anuvartinām ko vṛścat tava pādāṁs trīn saurabheya catuṣ-pada ma bhūvaṁs tvādṛśā rāṣṭre rājñāṁ kṛṣṇā-anuvartinām ko vṛścat tava pādāṁs trīn saurabheya catuṣ-pada ma bhūvaṁs tvādṛśā rāṣṭre rājñāṁ kṛṣṇā-anuvartinām. Matajis. Kaha, who is he? Avṛścat, cut off. Tava, your. Pādān, legs. Trīn, three. Saurabheya, O son of Surabhi. Catuḥ-pada, you are four-legged. Ma, never to be. Bhūvan, it so happened. Tvādṛśāḥ, as yourself. Rāṣṭre, in the state. Rājñāṁ, of the kings. kṛṣṇa-anuvartinām, those who follow the cords of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He, Mahārāja Parīkṣit, repeatedly addressed and questioned the bull thus: O son of Surabhi, who has cut off your three legs? In the state of the kings who are obedient to the laws of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, there is no one as unhappy as you. Purport. The kings or the executive heads of all states must know the codes of Lord Kṛṣṇa, generally Bhagavad-gītā and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. and must act accordingly in order to fulfill the mission of human life, which is to make an end to all miseries of material conditions. One who knows the codes of Lord Kṛṣṇa can achieve this end without any difficulty. In the Bhagavad-gītā, in a synopsis, we can understand the codes of Godhead. And in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the same codes are explained further. In a state where the codes of Krishna are followed, no one is unhappy. Where such codes are not followed, the first sign is that the three legs of the representative of religion are cut off, and thereby all miseries follow. When Krishna was personally present, the codes of Krishna were being followed without question. But in his absence, such codes are presented in the pages of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam for the guidance of the blind persons who happen to be in the helm of all affairs. Om Ajnānatimirandhasya Jnānāñjana-śalākaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhūtale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pādān Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopi Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, so how many of you are here for the first time? First time? Welcome you. Okay, how many of you are here yesterday also and the last week? Okay. Can somebody explain what is going on here? Yes, Prabhu. Okay, thank you. So what has happened to religion? We just read in the translation, something happened to the religion. The religion is standing on 4 legs, right? So what happened to religion? 3 legs are broken. Which leg is left? Truthfulness. So that means if we are truthful, then religion will survive. But because we are not being truthful, then religion is not surviving. And because religion is not surviving, Bhumi, or the planet that we stand on, Mother Earth, she's not doing very well. Right? So, Parīkṣit Mahārāja here is explaining that if we follow Krishna's codes, he says, I am doing it. And if I am following Krishna's codes, people should not be unhappy. But you are very unhappy. There is only 4 legs you stand on, and out of that 3 of them are broken. That means you're left with 1. Why are you suffering? Who are you? He asks before, are you a demigod? You're causing us pain. Are you trying to tell us something? Right? So, Srila Prabhupada explains, the kings or the executive heads of all states must know the codes of Lord Kṛṣṇa. And then in bracket he says, generally, Bhagavad-gītā and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And he doesn't explain. Right? That means he expects us to read Bhagavad-gītā and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So what are the codes of Krishna described in Bhagavad-gītā that we are supposed to follow? Yeah, go ahead. Pay your obeisances unto me. Do whatever your work you are doing, offer it to me. Pray to me, bow down to me. Okay, that's code of Krishna. And what's the final thing we are supposed to do? Sarva dharman parityajya, give up all religion. What does it mean, give up all religion? You have to follow some religion. Complete surrender means what? Sorry? Religion are not made by men, they are given by Krishna. Huh? Yeah, but Krishna says give up all religion, everything, you give it up. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja, just surrender unto me. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masaja. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions and award you liberation. Right? So what does it mean to give up all religion and surrender unto me? We have heard this a million times, but what does it mean? Just enter forest. It is. So as a grihastha, how would you do it? Yes, Prabhu? No, but Krishna said all religion. He didn't say cheating religion. He said all. Could you speak a little louder, Mataji? Yes.
And come to bhakti,
Yes.
which is surrender to Krishna. That
Right.
is the highest of all.
Yeah, so you don't worry about anything that is going around you. Right? Dhyana, karma, vairagya, even vairagya, you give it up. Yeah. Our Acharya, Madhavendra Puri, he said, I pay my obeisances to my Sandhya Vandanas. I pay my obeisances to all my sannyas duties. Please forgive me because I am not able to follow up because my mind is too busy, thinking about Krishna. That's why I don't figure out, oh, it's, noon, I have to chant my Gayatri. Sorry, I just have no thought process. So that is called giving up all religion and surrendering unto Krishna. Now, that's a very high level platform. Sannyasi, okay, he can do. But remember, Krishna told this to a grihastha. And he is not just a grihastha, he is a kshatriya. And not just a kshatriya, he is the younger brother of the emperor of the world. That means there is absolutely no scarcity of anything. Right? So, If he wants any kind of sense gratification, he has it already. And Krishna is telling him, you give up all religion and surrender unto me. So as a brahmachari, as a grihastha, as a vanaprasthi, as a sannyasi, how can we in our day-to-day life do that? Because if we do, Srila Prabhupada says, you cannot be unhappy. And all of us want to be happy. So how we can do that? Yes, bro. So how are you going to add that one? Right. So whenever you do something, whenever you're thinking of something, okay, let's say I want to go out to Goa for holidays. It's a nice thing to do, no? Nice beach. Let's go to Thailand, have some, have Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam on the cruise with all the very rich people. It's a nice idea. Why not? You can attract more people. You attract the higher class people, and I can bring in the money for building the temples, and I will engage it in Krishna's service. That's all nice, right? We can do that, but we have to make sure that we don't get stuck over there. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took Gadadhar. Wasn't Gadadhar Pandit. Was, I think, Gadadhar Das. Anyway, he took to see Pundarik Vidyanidhi. And he's thinking, why did Mahaprabhu come here? This person is so much into sense gratification. Just look at the opulence around him. He's no less than a king. And just look at him. And Mahaprabhu, he didn't want to meet Mahārāja Prataparudra because he's a kshatriya, he's a king, he is so much engrossed with, so many, worldly pleasures. So he didn't want to associate with him, but he's coming to meet Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Why? And then Mahaprabhu, understanding, he just recites a shloka from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and you see Pundarik Vidyanidhi falling in ecstasy, getting all the 8 kinds of vikaras in his body, sattvika vikaras. So all those opulence that he had, did that affect him? It didn't. Right? Srila Prabhupada, in Mayapur, he was living in that hut, right? In the Bhajan Kutir. In New Vrindavan, they made a palace for him. If you go and see his room in Mumbai, it's like, wow. But did he say, okay, I prefer to stay here? He never did that. He was constantly thinking, okay, I need to preach the glories of the Lord. So it didn't matter what situation he was in. It didn't matter. What mattered was, how is he going to preach Krishna consciousness? Because that's what he came for. He came here to make Mahaprabhu's prediction come true. In every town and village. Every town and village. Right? There was some devotees, I think in Brazil, they were doing some book distribution. And they ended up in the Amazon forest. They went to in the Amazon, this village in the forest. And they were trying to do book distribution. They knocked on the door. The door opened. There is one Mataji with tilak on her forehead and wearing a sari. Complete shock. What? I'm the first guy to enter the Amazon. What is this? How did this happen? So he's like, Hare Krishna? He says, yes, Hare Krishna. He says, Mataji, how come you are here? I thought I was the first person to enter this forest. how come you are here? He says, and she said, I used to be an air hostess in some airlines. And Srila Prabhupada happened to be up on the same flight. And somebody, whoever was traveling with Srila Prabhupada, he gave him this puffed rice, for Srila Prabhupada to eat. And Srila Prabhupada was eating that, and this girl, this air hostess, she got very much fascinated by this Prabhupada's, this muri, the puffed rice. Without a word, she just reached up to his plate, took a handful and popped it in her mouth, and just like ate it. And she was in bliss. It's like, wow, this is really, really nice. What is this? And Srila Prabhupada was talking to her. And then she felt she must serve this person. So she asked, how can I serve you? And Srila Prabhupada said, is it possible to get some hot milk? You are up in the airlines. Srila Prabhupada said, hot milk. She arranged. She gave Srila Prabhupada a cup of hot milk. Srila Prabhupada was very happy, very pleased with her service. And then eventually, she must have met some devotees somewhere. She got Srila Prabhupada's books. She saw Srila Prabhupada's picture. She got so, I'm not getting the word, inspired or like enlivened. She got so enlivened, she just got the book. She started reading Srila Prabhupada's books. She said, this is what I want to do. Right? She gave up her job. She went back to her village. And she started, reading Srila Prabhupada's books. And they started preaching and like that. And then this devotee comes, thinking for the first time. But Prabhupada did it. Right? Just by association. It says, Lava matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy. Just by a moments of association of a pure devotee, you can get all perfection. This lady got. Why? She had the Mahaprasad of Srila Prabhupada. And she got an opportunity to serve Srila Prabhupada. In that much time, that was good for her. Her life became successful. She started following the codes of Krishna. And even sitting in the the village of Amazon, she was happy. Indradyumna Mahārāja, he came to Gurukul one day and he said, I have a story to tell you. He had gone to Amazon. And what he did, he talked, he had some discussion with the mayor or, some head of the states over there. And they gave him a boat filled with prasad. And he says, you just distribute it within the Amazon. He had a very interesting story to tell. He said, he went there and, he's sitting in this white cruise. He's there doing his kirtan and he approaches a village in the deep forests of Amazon. And, he saw some bushes move and he saw some people. So he wanted to just, hey, Haribol, I have some prasad for you. And the person, the captain, he said, no, wait. You see what they have in their hands? They had these blow darts. He says, if you step in there, they will kill you. Why? Because you are a completely random stranger. So they will kill you. You have to attract them. So what he did, he started cooking on the boat. So the smell, they got the aroma and they're like, wow, this is a nice smell. He started, come, I have this for you. And, he tried to attract them. And at one point, the person did get attracted. So he came, he gave him some prasad, he ate. He ate the prasad, he was so happy, it was so nice and tasty. So then they got familiar, the captain of the ship knew the language. And so they started to communicate and he started to talk about Krishna. So they were very happy. And they became very, not submissive, like, they started to accept what he was trying to say. And he gave them beads, he showed them how to do japa. Now there was one boy, he got very attracted to chanting. And he said, I want to take initiation from you. Mahārāja said, you continue chanting. A young boy. He said, you continue chanting, and next time I come, I will give you initiation. If you continue to chant. And he was interacting with these villagers very nicely. So the head of the village, they say, God sends us everything in the river. Right? All the special things we get from the river. So we want to provide you a special seat that God has given us. Because you are a man of God, we want to offer you this seat. So Mahārāja was happy. Okay, what is this? Something interesting. So, okay, bring the seat. And Mahārāja, he was shocked when they brought the special seat. It was the Western style toilet. Some ship must have sank. Something must have happened. This toilet came floating down. And they said, the God has sent us the seed. What is Mahārāja supposed to do? He accepted the seed. He's sitting on it. He's preaching. And then it's time to move on. And this boy has tears in his eyes. He says, please don't go. Please don't go. He says, no, I must continue. I have to do. So Mahārāja continued. And then when he went, these people started to play on the drums. Right? So Mahārāja, they thought, they are sending off. So he's saying, hey, okay, bye-bye. And then he went to the next village. He heard the same drum, ringing. So he was like, it's similar, So it's, no, they are sending a sign from this village to the next village that there is a white man coming on a white boat with nice food. Don't attack him. So they were very, welcoming. And, so he went around like that, I think, for a month or so. He went around preaching in the forest of Amazon, and he came back. And on the way back, he saw that there was this boy still chanting under the same tree. So he said, don't worry, I will come back. And then, Mahārāja continued with his preaching around the world and like that. And then I can't remember whether there was another sannyasi. He went again to travel in the Amazon, and then he came back, and he met Indradyumna Mahārāja. So Mahārāja asked, so how was your experience? He said, it was wonderful, it was very nice. They all remember you. And this Mahārāja went after 16 years. And he said, and this sannyasi, he told Indradyumna Mahārāja, but I have to tell you something. He said, what is it? He said, something that touched my heart. Something that I can't forget about the Amazon. He says, you have to return back, because there is this one boy waiting for you, still hoping that you will come back and initiate him. He's there chanting under the same tree every day, whole day. For 16 years he's waiting. So Mahārāja, this was the story Mahārāja told us about like 6-7 years ago. He said he's planning to go back to Amazon. The only reason he wants to go back is to go and meet this boy. Right? That one particular boy took up Krishna consciousness. And according to the second sannyasi, he said he's the happiest person. Even though he has polio, he has difficulty to move, but he's the happiest person. So this is a live example of somebody who's following the codes of Krishna. He is happy. Right? So if we do the same, we follow the codes of Krishna, we will be happy. Right? Here it say, is there, Bhagavad-gītā gives it in short. Directly Krishna tells you, you do this for me, you do that for me. This is how you should live, this is what you should not do. If you do this, you will be very peaceful. The peace formula. Right? He gives it everything. Okay, but that's all philosophy. If we don't understand that, okay, great. He gives Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. This is a life of people who follow Bhagavad-gītā, who are following the codes of Krishna. You take any canto, any chapter. It's all about those people who are following the codes of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, he once described, he said he had a discussion with Krishna. Krishna said, you should go back, you should go to the earth and preach. And Prabhupada said, no, it's too austere down there. So you look at the 6 Goswamis, living under a new tree every night. The Kaupina Kanthashrito, they just have their kaupins and the blanket and their kamandalu and that's it, and they are working it's too austere. And Krishna said, no, you go. I'll make a palace for you in every city. He did. Right? Srila Prabhupada's time. It was so beautiful. Devotees were so dedicated. And they were all, either in their teenage or in a very, in their 20s or early 30s. They had association of Srila Prabhupada in a very short time period. And then they went all around the world and they preached. Tamal Krishna Maharaj had some disagreement with some devotee, one of his god brothers. And he said, it's better to go to China and preach rather than to be here. Srila Prabhupada said, good idea. You should do that. And Maharaj was like, no, I'm not going there. No, that's a good idea. You should go. Serious? Tamal Krishna Maharaj flew to China, changed, so many devotees. Before COVID happened, every year 150, 200 devotees would come from China during Gaur Purnima festival. How? Following the codes of Krishna. Right? So many interesting and amazing story in a life of devotees. Those who directly follow the codes of Krishna. Every day is fun. Jananidas Prabhu was mentioning, he said, in Mayapur, every day we want to have a festival. We want to have 365 festivals in Mayapur. Right? 365 festivals in Mayapur. You will be amazed to hear, but probably there are more than 180 days of festival already in Mayapur. That means every second day is a festival. Right? If you have a festival is called Utsava. Ut means to uplift and Sava means consciousness. So which is uplifting your consciousness every second day. Can you be unhappy in Sridham Mayapur? You cannot be. Why? Because every second day is uplifting your consciousness. But you have to make an endeavor to come to the temple. You have to make an endeavor, to be part of the crowd. You have to like it, to sit there and not some there's, Abhishek is happening, is hardly 50 people who can watch. But in the temple you got about 300 devotees. Right? Not more than 50 can watch directly. And even then, you have all these camera and people standing in front. It's difficult. It's hot. If you don't sit there by 11 o'clock in the morning, you're not getting that spot. So from 11 to 7 in the evening, 8 hours, you're just sitting in one place. Right? And it's not that you can sit like this. No, you're sitting like this. But you are there every year, sitting in the same position. Why? Utsava, it uplifts your consciousness. You want to see, regardless to all those difficulties you are facing. It's like 50 degrees inside the temple. You're sweating, your clothes are all wet, you may get heat rash, you may get so many problems. You don't have water to drink, you're fasting. And then somebody thinks of running over you, like hitting you. There was a stampede, it's like people are just like crushed in, like, there are small babies, kids, women, old people. But they are all sitting there. That's called dedication. I want to be there when, Narasimha is getting his Abhishek. You could peacefully sit in your house. Mayapur TV is providing you the darshan. Turn on the AC, have a drink. No, but you are all there. Why? Because that's uplifting your consciousness. Maybe when you get hit by the elbow, you say, "Oh, Krishna, it hurt." Why? You say Krishna. If you are sitting in your room under the AC, you may fall asleep. You may feel like going and eating something, have a walk around, take a nap. So that's not utsava. That's regular. It's not uplifting your consciousness. So after watching this for past 37 years, then okay, the design in the new temple is made in such a way that at a time about few thousand devotees will be able to sit and take darshan of the Abhishek. So we have to wait for 2 more years for that. But that's called following the codes of Krishna. There is a group of devotees going every day in the morning around Mayapur performing kirtan, no matter what. I have seen them on rainy days also. They are there outside, under some shade, standing there doing kirtan. That requires dedication. That requires love for Krishna. Now, why do they do that? Because they love it. They love Krishna. They could easily sit and say, okay, I'm very tired, it's raining outside, it's so hot, so many difficulties, but they do it. So we, especially in Mayapur, are surrounded by those people who are following the codes of Krishna. Surrounded, like literally, you look around, there is no scarcity of people chanting 64 rounds a day in Sridham Mayapur. Now, if you look for one, you will find hundreds. I'm not joking, hundreds who chant 64 rounds every day. That's why Srila Prabhupada said, this is my place of worship. Right? Because devotees are so dedicated. Right? This year we celebrated Jananivas Prabhu's 50 years of doing service. But there are other devotees within the deity department who are there for 40 years, 35 years, 30 years, 10 years, 15 years. It's not a short time. Right? For some of us, it's half of our lifetime, 15 years. But they are there every day doing service. Why? That's following codes of Krishna. You do it like that, Krishna is so happy. Krishna is so pleased. And then he starts pampering you. I've known many devotees in Mayapur, they say, oh, there is no means of making money. I need to go to the Western countries and make money. And then I can live peacefully here. But believe me, if you follow Krishna's codes, if you surrender to Krishna, there is no shortage of money in Mayapur. Absolutely no. Right? I heard, there was one rickshawala. He went to this, if you go outside this, how to say, this gate behind this Chakra building, there is this gate. You go, there is this police station, and there is this very dirty, stinky bank over there. I think it's like, whatever, some bank over there. Like, if you go inside, it's not less than any public toilet. It's stinky, it's dirty, filthy. So this man goes there with a sack, on his back. He goes there and he's sitting there. And he says, I want to make an account. Hey, you sit down, dirty man. Go sit down over there. Wait. He's waiting for 2 hours. He's like, yeah, come. What do you want? I want to open a bank account. Okay. What kind of bank account you want? Zero balance? How much money are you going to put inside? 1 crore. What? Sir, please come, please. Come sit with our manager. Would you like to have some drink or some tea? No. 1 crore? Are you serious? The guy is a rickshawala. And where did he brought 1 crore cash in that bag. That's a rickshawala. So that's why it's called Chintamani Prakarasat Masukalpa Vriksha. This is the holy dham. The dust of this holy dham is Chintamani. The trees are all Kalpa Vriksha. Why? Because you think about it, you surrender to Krishna, it happens. Right? Krishna fulfills your desire. Why do we have a book in Sridham Mayapur where it says Narasimhadev is fulfilling everybody's desire, and he has so many pastimes in it? We have a book with Jagannath, he's fulfilling so many desires. Why? Because people are actually surrendering to him, and this is Chintamani Dham. You think of something, it happens. You have a desire, it happens. You want to live in Sridham Mayapur, you have absolutely no idea how to. And then you decide to come here for doing something, and you find ways of how you can live in Sridham Mayapur. Right? You want to do some service in Sridham Mayapur, you are sincere about it, you get it. Why? Because we have people following the codes of Krishna. And that's why Krishna is pleased. You do some mistake, you get some punishment. Why? Because Krishna cares for you. But you still live in the holy dham. Oh, I don't have means to survive. Of course you do. We got like 5-6 kitchens. Do some service in the kitchen, you will get prasad. But the problem is we are greedy. We want more and more and have no faith in Krishna that he will provide. That's why we think, I can't live in Mayapur, I have to go outside. And then they go work outside. 3-4 years later, they say, outside is hell, I better stay here and do what I was doing before. Because there is no happiness. People don't follow the codes of Krishna outside. If you want to experience this, it's an open invitation for experiencing. You go to Kolkata. Okay? You don't have to go very far. Just go to Kolkata, spend a day over there. Go to the Boro Bazaar, do your shopping, do everything. You come back. Come back by train. Get down at the Navadvip station. Right? You will feel the difference. From the Navadvip station, you take a toto, you cross the river, you come to Mayapur. You will feel the difference. From Holur Ghat, you take a toto again, you come inside the ISKCON campus. You will feel the difference. Now you'll go to hell, come to the heavenly planets, and then enter the spiritual dham. You will see the difference. You will feel it. Why? Because this place is vibrating with Krishna consciousness. Right? It's vibrating with Krishna consciousness. Because people follow the codes of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, it said, here in the last sentence he said, the codes of Krishna were being followed. When Krishna was personally present, the codes of Krishna were being followed without question. In his absence, such codes are presented in the pages of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. That means Krishna is present here because it's been followed without question. Nobody says, why should I put tilak on? Why do I have to be there for Mangalarti? Why should I chant japa? No, people just do it. It's just, and it's not that old people, very senior devotees. No, we have young kids coming for Mangalarati. Why? It's just part of life. That's what you do. You come for Mangalarati. You chant japa. There was some group of devotees, they were saying, oh, this Mayapur youth, such nonsense, they are always doing all this crazy stuff and not coming to, not participating in any services and this and that. Some time ago I was in the Gaushala, and this youth who were there in the Gaushala. What were they doing? Playing around, talking, petting the cows, not doing any service, enjoying life. But one strange thing I saw, every single one of them had a bead bag in their hand. And they were chanting. Okay, you can call it as a nama bhas, nama aparad, but they were chanting. That's the youth of, the crazy youth of Mayapur. They're playing around with a bead bag in their hand, with no adult supervision to tell them, no, you should chant. But it's just part of life. That's what you do. You just chant japa, okay, it's teenage, the mind is going crazy. You do crazy stuff, it happens. But they are all chanting. That's why this is Sridham Mayapur. Right? If without these devotees, it wouldn't be Sridham Mayapur. This is the devotees who make it. Why? Because they are following the codes of Krishna. Now, if we want to develop in our Krishna consciousness, we got to follow codes of Krishna. We have to see, how can I engage myself more and more into Krishna consciousness? What can I do? Then Prahlad Maharaj says, Smartavya satatam Vishnu. Always remember Krishna. Vismartavya na jatuchit. Never forget him. So you're thinking, how can I always be Krishna conscious? Okay, I want to go have a swim in Ganga. I put my trousers on. Okay, while I'm swimming in Ganga, I have opportunity to think of Krishna. Right? The benefit that you will get by taking bath in Ganga and all your sin will be eradicated, that's just a, side effect. That will happen. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, anybody living on the banks of Ganga and the wind that flows by is going to purify their minds and bring them Krishna consciousness. So the air that you breathe in is bringing in Krishna consciousness. Right? You're just like, oh, I'm being Krishna conscious. Why? Because this is Ganga. The breeze, it's coming from Ganga. Mahaprabhu said. Right? What do you look at? You look at devotees. I had my father-in-law come in, after I got married, and he came to our house for some time. And we were living in Gaurnagar at that time. He's coming from Mumbai, and he says, this all houses belong to devotees? Yes. And he turns around, there's a different groups of buildings. This also? I said, yes. Then we go a little further down, like, this also? I said, yes. It's shock for people not living in Mayapur that there is a city of devotees. There are 5,000 devotees living here. What you will hear, Pankajangi Prabhu said, he said, I clearly remember Srila Prabhupada saying it, that there will be multiple Harinam parties going around in Mayapur every day. Said, Pankajangi Prabhu said, apparently nobody else heard it. Somehow I am the only one who heard it. But now we see it's happening. It's true. Right? In the morning we have a group of devotees, and in the evening we have a group of devotees, and we have a group of devotees going around then all the 9 dweepas. Right? If you just live and participate in the activities that is happening around here, you're following the codes of Krishna. And the more you do, more you will see that Krishna is holding you in his palms. He's taking care of you. Right? One devotee, he explained very nicely. He said, Narasimhadeva is known for being ferocious. He's known for being angry. He's known for being like ripping people apart. So you read all these different mantras, glorifying Narasimhadeva. He says, cut, rip, kill, splash, tear, pluck their eyes out. And these are the wordings they use for Narasimhadeva. But one thing we miss out is that he did all that because somebody was harassing his devotee. He couldn't handle it anymore. Right? So he just came and ripped it apart. He just couldn't handle him. He said, who is going to worry about, bringing the, hitting him with a club and with a sword and with, tying him up with a rope? Forget it. Just rip him apart. He was so angry. He is the one who showed the most vatsalya rasa towards his devotees. It was the same nails. It was the same teeth. He was holding Prahlad Maharaj with. And what did he do? He's licking Prahlad Maharaj. He's so angry. At one point he's so angry. Demigods thought Hiranyakashipu is dead. Narasimhadev is not satisfied. Millions of soldiers just came from all sides. he had millions of hands. There is a form of Narasimhadev called Gandhabhirunda Narasimha. Right? The description says he had 32 million hands in that particular form. And he's just ripping and squashing and he's just killing these demons. And they all died. Everybody is dead. But he's not satisfied. So what he does, he has nothing to do. He just sits down. And he's so angry. He's screaming. He's just screaming. He can't do anything. That's what we also do, right? When we are so angry and we can't do anything, what do? We just yell and scream and we cry. Where it comes from? It comes from Narasimhadev. He's just screaming, what can I do next? I'm not satisfied. All these guys are dead. They harass my devotees. They are all dead. Oh! Demigods thought the Brahmanda is going to explode. We got to do something. Okay, let's pacify him. Yeah, sure. Dare someone. Nobody dares. Okay. Prahlad, 5-year-old, we are all, I'm the creator of the universe. I'm scared. You 5-year-old, you want to go? Yeah, sure, no problem. Narasimha is trembling with anger over there, and he goes and places this garland with a smile on his face. And Narasimha was not aware Prahlad Maharaj came. It was after the garland, it fell on him, and he was like, oh, what's this? Where did the garland come from? And then he looks around. He sees Prahlad. Oh, that's my son. What happened, Prabhu? You're angry. A moment ago. So angry that you wanted to destroy the universe by your roaring and screaming. He forgot. Oh, my son. Close him to his heart. He's embracing him. He's a lion. So he starts licking him. Those same nails are holding him. Right? But now he's so dear to him. He's so, he's embracing Prahlad. And he's licking him. The more he's licking, the more his anger is cooling down. Pacified. Oh my son. You just imagine what kind of that scene must have been when Narasimhadev is that so close, having Prahlad Maharaj right in his arm, and Prahlad Maharaj is embracing Narasimhadev. Just have that imagination if you can. Right? And you could have seen all those forms in the Abhishek of Narasimhadev. Right? He's like a completely black, ferocious, like out there. And then you pour milk on him and it looks completely different. And then you pour yogurt on him and he looks so sweet. And then put all these things on him. You see all his different forms that he's manifesting. Right. Why did he do that? Why is he holding? Because there is somebody who is following the codes of Krishna. He's so dear to him. He's holding him. Prahlad Maharaj is thrown off the hill. The Lord holds him up. He wants to get bitten by snake, and he's getting bitten by snakes. He's getting protected. Okay, no worries. Then Hiranyakashipu said, I'm going to kill him myself. She are right. The most powerful personality in the universe. Hiranyakashipu. Krishna says, I show you how, what's going to happen. So this is what the Lord does. And what we got to do, just follow his codes. Surrender. That's what he wants. Don't worry about anything. Nothing. If I'm going to get my prasadam or no. If I will have, like Bhadracharu Prabhu, long-standing devotee in ISKCON Mayapur. Right? He has 3 daughters. He's a Brahmin, poor Brahmana. What is he going to do? He has 3 daughters to marry. First daughter's marriage comes. He doesn't have money. So how is he going to do it? Somebody just popped up and says, I have no daughter. I would like to do the kanyadan, of your daughter, first daughter. May I? Yeah, sure. He said, I will pay. How did that happen? He's been serving Radha Madhava Panchatattva Narasimhadev for years. So Krishna provides. It's the same thing. We dedicate ourselves, we surrender ourselves. Krishna will provide in the most amazing way. You will be like, wow, this is also possible. Krishna can do this also. And he will do it according to the way how we appreciate. Because Krishna says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajamyaham. The way how you surrender to me, that's how I will reciprocate. Bhishma Dev wants to fight with him. No problem. Come to Parthasarthi Loka. We fight over there. Right? Somebody wants to, gopis want to have love and affection with him. Okay. That's how I interact. So, way how we want to serve Krishna, that's how he will accept. He's so accommodating. Okay, so we'll end here. Anybody, any comments or question? Can you go for? No? Okay. Grantharaj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.